This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
(6:15 p.m.) This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The news edited by Dulmin Samarasinghe, assisted by Nilusha Jayamana, and read by Geethanjali Ramanayaka. The headlines. Orders under Sri Lanka Land Development Corporation Amendment Draft Bill and Land Acquisition Act passed in Parliament. 3,000 houses will be built for middle-income earners. 26th of this month declared as National Energy Day. The opposition hands over no confidence motion against Minister Udaya Gammanpila to the Speaker. In news from overseas, Australia reports a surge in the number of people cancelling their vaccine appointments. In sports, cricket, Sri Lanka Cricket is to bid for 3 major ICC events. News in detail. Orders under Sri Lanka Land Development Corporation Amendment Draft Bill and Land Acquisition Act were passed in Parliament today. Presenting the acts, Minister S.M. Chandrasena said that the aim of the orders is to pay compensation for landowners when acquiring land for development projects. The lands will be taken over for expressways, electricity projects, urban development and transport projects. Compensation will be paid for the land and for the property in the land. Minister Chandrasena said that lands will be provided to create 100,000 young entrepreneurs. Taking part in the debate, MP Gayantha Karunatilaka said that taking over lands for development projects will not be opposed. However, he said that they will oppose taking over lands with special values. Minister Rohitha Abegunawardena said that those who are in traditional professions have lost their income due to the pandemic. He said that new projects should be implemented to create new income methods. He said that development activities of the country will not be disrupted due to the pandemic. Taking part in the debate, MP Harini Amarasuriya said that economic, cultural, environment and many other sectors are connected to lands. She said that attention should be paid to whether the present development model has protected them. State Minister Nalaka Godahewa said that the Act will empower to immediately stop illegal constructions. He said that Muthurajawala is being conserved as a Ramsar wetland and several other projects are being implemented to control floods. 3,000 houses will be built soon for middle-income earners, according to Vistas of Prosperity and Splendour National Policy Statement. The project is implemented on the instructions of the Prime Minister to meet the housing needs of the middle-income earners, even amid COVID pandemic. The project will be implemented at Orugodavatta, Blomandal, Palliagada, Kottawa, Boralaskamuwa, Malabe and Kandy. 432 houses have been built at Orugodavatta Housing Complex, which commenced on the 4th of January. Palliagada Housing Project consists of 384 houses and Kottawa Housing Complex has 314 houses. The Ministry of Urban Development and Housing said that development activities of the housing complexes are underway at present. 210 houses will be built under the Blomandal and 256 at Malabe and 120 at the Boralaskamuwa housing project. 504 houses will be built in the project at Palliagada under the second phase. The second housing complex at Orugodavatta will consist of 440 housing units. 40 billion rupees will be spent on the construction of the housing projects, which are being built targeting newly wedded couples, young professionals, teachers, bank officials, and middle-income earners. All housing complexes are equipped with the necessary infrastructure facilities. A loan can be obtained to purchase a house from a state bank at a low interest rate of 6.5% payable in 25 years. 26th of this month has been declared as National Energy Day. The Cabinet has approved the proposal in this regard. Several programs will be implemented to educate students about the subject. Amendments are being made to the Industrial Promotion Act No. 46 of 1990 by inserting regulations suitable for present times. The Cabinet has approved a proposal to appoint advisory councils consisting of experts in the relevant fields to 20 main industrial sectors, chambers of commerce, universities and research institutions, and until those amendments are introduced. Meanwhile, the Cabinet has also approved to amend Consumer Affairs Authority Act No. 9 of 2003 and Sri Lanka Telecommunication Act No. 25 of 1991. The no-confidence motion against Minister Udaya Gammanpila by the opposition, led by its leader Sajith Premadasa, for increasing fuel prices was handed over today to the Speaker Mahinda Yapa Abeyewardena. 43 opposition members have signed the no-confidence motion. The central bank recently announced that civilian life can be seriously affected if the price of fuel was not increased. The opposition at the time of good governance government has left a debt of more than 127 billion rupees, the loans taken from the Petroleum Corporation by the Electricity Board. At present, the Petroleum Corporation is making a loss of 380 billion rupees. Sri Lanka is also on the third place among the countries with lowest fuel prices. Foreign Minister Dinesh Gunawardena, in a telephone conversation held yesterday with the Indian External Minister, said that the steps that both countries have taken so far to enhance bilateral relations between Sri Lanka and India have been fruitful. Foreign Minister Gunawardena thanked the Indian External Affairs Minister for the financial assistance and COVID relief support extended by the Government of India to combat the pandemic. And during the discussion, the two ministers agreed to work in collaboration with the regional organizations such as BIMSTEC and IORA. Plans were also exchanged to continue cooperation, especially through common platforms like Colombo Plan and Commonwealth. The two ministers discussed at length the challenges posed by the COVID-19 encountered by the two countries. The government has paid its attention on introducing a concessionary loan scheme for government teachers to purchase tabs or mobile phones to conduct educational activities online. State Minister P.R. Nishantha said that they are conducting discussions with state banks in this regard. He said that the aim is to streamline school education and to overcome obstacles due to the pandemic. This news comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
Get your EPF loan information and service details via SMS from HDFC Bank.
Applications have been called for an open competitive examination to recruit graduates to Sri Lanka Teacher Service to teach foreign languages at national schools. The Ministry of Education has announced that applications can be submitted until the 13th of August. The applicants can submit their applications online by logging into the official website of the Department of Examinations. Sergeant-at-Arms Narendra Fernando said UNP leader Ranil Wickremesinghe, who is to be sworn in as a Member of Parliament, has been allotted the 13th front row seat on the side of the opposition in the House. Mr. Wickremesinghe is scheduled to be sworn in before the Speaker, Mahinda Yapa Abeyewardena, tomorrow morning. The Colombo Special High Court has decided to hear the case against 10 suspects, including former Finance Minister Ravi Karnanayake and former Central Bank Governor Arjun Mahendran, on the 2nd of next month. The case has been filed against them under 22 charges, including criminal misappropriation of 15 billion rupees at the Central Bank bond auction. That ends local news. Up next is the main news story.
Now, get your EPF loan information and service details via SMS from HDFC Bank. Wherever you are, being a state and private sector employee, to obtain EPF loan information and service details, just send a SMS mentioning EPF space, name and region to 0718 800 999. HDFC Bank, the bank for your home.
story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
Foreign Employment Bureau has announced that their training courses will recommence online. Deputy General Manager Mangala Randeniya said that training courses will be conducted in 12 centres. He said that further information can be obtained from the official website of the Foreign Employment Bureau. And that was our main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
And in Watchlight this evening, people in the area are facing immense difficulties due to the dumping of garbage at several places on the road from Haligadu to Dehiyovita. They said that people travelling in vehicles from other areas throw garbage on the road. They said that although relevant officials have been informed about the issue, no solution has been given so far. They request the relevant authorities to solve the problem as soon as possible. That came to you in Watchlight, and moving on to a bulletin of world news. In the headlines, Australia reports a surge in the number of people cancelling their vaccine appointments. The US could slow down Afghanistan withdrawal amid Taliban gains. Fire destroys 2 Catholic churches on indigenous land in Canada. Australian doctors have reported a surge in the number of people cancelling their vaccine appointments amid a new wave of caution over the AstraZeneca jab. It comes after the government updated guidance last week to recommend only those aged over 60 get the shot due to the risk of a rare blood clotting syndrome. Turning down any vaccine, and AstraZeneca is the world's most widely used one, may seem remarkable to other nations still battling rampant COVID. The US military has said it could slow down its withdrawal from Afghanistan in light of recent battlefield victories by the Taliban. Pentagon spokesman John Kirby said the deadline for a full withdrawal by the 11th of September was still in place, but the pace may change. Pentagon officials said last week that the withdrawal is about halfway done. Afghanistan has seen increasing violence as the US and NATO prepare to pull out their remaining troops. Police in Canada say they are treating fires that destroyed 2 Catholic churches on Indigenous community land in British Columbia as suspicious. Sacred Heart Church and St. Gregory's Church were burnt down about the same time early yesterday as Canada marked National Indigenous Peoples Day. The 2 churches, built more than 100 years ago, are located about 40 kilometers apart in the Western Province. Liquid acceleration are believed to have been used. Back to the headlines of the world news. Australia reports a surge in the number of people cancelling their vaccine appointments. The US could slow down Afghanistan withdrawal amid Taliban gains. Fire destroys 2 Catholic churches on indigenous land in Canada. And that was the world news. Moving on to development news. Managing Director, Boat Building Technology Improvement Institute, Gamini Herath said Sri Lanka is to develop 12 marinas in 2030 and to have a network around the island with 1,200 berths. Speaking at a webinar organised by the Sri Lanka Export Development Board under the theme Recreational Boating Development in Sri Lanka, he said they are envisaging 8 million tourist arrivals by 2030 and they may have a market potential for 4,000 to 5,000 boats. That was development news, and moving on to sports news. Sri Lanka Cricket said today that it has decided to bid for 3 major ICC men's events to be held during the period between 2024 and 2031. Accordingly, bids will be submitted for the ICC T20 World Cup, Men's Cricket World Cup and the Champions Trophy. Sri Lanka Cricket in certain events will make a joint bid in collaboration with the ICC member country or countries. Today is the 5th day of the ICC World Test Championship final at Southampton. Batting first, India scored 217 in their first innings. New Zealand were 128 for 3 wickets a short while ago. Pakistan Cricket Board and batting coach Yunis Khan have mutually agreed to part ways only 6 months after he accepted a 2-year contract. He won't be travelling with the Pakistan team on their overseas tour of England and West Indies. Both parties did not make any further comment on the reasons for Khan's departure. That was sports news.
Contributory deposit of 1,000 rupees from NSB when your child enters grade 1. Open a Hapan Children's Service account for your kid today. Higher interest. Conditions apply. Business News. Sponsored by National Savings Bank. The safest place for your money.
Chairman of the Sri Lanka Business Council in the UAE, Suren Swaminathan, said Dubai, Abu Dhabi and Sharjah have grown fast in the ICT sector and there are plenty of joint venture opportunities for the Sri Lankan ICT sector in the UAE market. He was speaking at the Embassy of Sri Lanka in Abu Dhabi organised webinar with the Export Development Board and the Consulate General of Sri Lanka in Dubai to bridge over 100 Sri Lankan ICT companies and professionals with the UAE market. That was Business News.
Business News. Sponsored by National Savings Bank. The safest place for your money. Contributory deposit of 1,000 rupees from NSB when your child enters grade 1. Open a Hapan Children's Service account for your kid today. Higher interest. Conditions apply.
Economic news. Courtesy of
I bought my daughter a laptop for her work by managing my finances. Whatever the expenses may be, I can't afford to miss out on life's special moments like her birthday or our anniversary. So you need to invest to make your family's future flourish.
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibilities. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act number 42 of 2011.
Sri Lanka's export sector managed its growth momentum in May 2021 with the challenges of this pandemic. As per the statistics released by the Sri Lanka Customs, Sri Lanka's merchandise exports in May 2021 was $884.2 million, an increase of 50.71% over $586.7 million in May 2020. Sri Lanka's merchandise exports in January to May 2021 was $4,583.56 million, an increase of 32.61% over $3,456.32 million in January to May 2020. That was Economic News.
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibility. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act number 42 of 2011.
Weather report was sponsored by
Dialogue, in partnership with the Ministry of Education, introduces Nanasa, a trilingual educational mobile app with video-based lessons for grade 1 to A-levels. Now your child can study with ease on your mobile with no subscription fee.
In the weather report, the Met Department says showers or thundershowers will occur at times in the western, central, Sabragamua and southern provinces. Showers or thundershowers will occur in the eastern and Ua provinces and in the Mullaitivu district in the evening or at night. Several spares of showers will occur in the northwestern province. Fairly heavy falls above 50 millimeters can be expected at some places in the western and in the Sabragamua provinces and in the Gaul and Matra districts. That was the weather report.
Weather report was sponsored by
Dialogue, in partnership with the Ministry of Education, introduces Nanasa, a trilingual educational mobile app with video-based lessons for grade 1 to A-levels. Now your child can study with ease on your mobile with no subscription fee.
To end this news broadcast, the headlines once again. Orders under Sri Lanka Land Development Corporation Amendment Draft Bill and Land Acquisition Act passed in Parliament. 3,000 houses will be built for middle-income earners. 26th of this month declared as National Energy Day. The opposition hands over no confidence motion against Minister Udaya Gammanpila to the Speaker. News from overseas, Australia reports a surge in the number of people cancelling their vaccine appointments. In sports, Sri Lanka cricket is to bid for 3 major ICC events. And with that, we conclude this news broadcast.